Welcome to the Numerology and Astrology for September 22nd, 2021. If you add all those numbers together, you get the number 18, and if you add the 1 and the 8 together, you get the number 9. The number 9 is considered a number of completion, psychic ability, creative arts, empathy, and intuition. To Pythagoras, the number 9 is the limit to which generative principles of numbers reach. Ancient mathematical philosophers called 9 the finishing post and that which brings completion. In our culture, we have all of these lovely sayings. We say, a cat has 9 lives, go the whole 9 yards, we're on cloud 9, and dressed to the nines. Christians refer to the three trinities as the holiest of holies. The number 9 represents the principles of the sacred triad taken to their utmost expression. 9 was considered thrice sacred and the most holy. At the 9th hour, Jesus, the Savior, died. There was said to be 9 orders of angels: seraphim, cherubim, thrones, dominions, virtues, powers, principalities, archangels, and angels. The 9 muses of ancient Greece were one for each interesting thing. One was for poetry, history, tragedy, music, love, inspiration, and pantomime, then dancing, astronomy, comedy, and finally eloquence. And I know there were 3 of those that are kind of smushed together. In Chinese, the word for gift and the 9 are identical. So in ancient Asia, gifts were given in groups of 9 to be respectful and honoring. In the positive, the number 9 is psychic, intuitive, emotional, sensitive, creative, and artistic. In the negative, the number 9 can be depressed, reactive, and distraught. So today we have a number 9. Listen with the keen insight of the intuition of the number 9 and allow the whispers from the universe to come in and help direct your next steps. Let this energy give you a sense of things coming full circle and that it might be time to leap past a particular point in your life. Perhaps the karma is complete with a person, a job, a situation, pick something. Perhaps now is the time to step out of the past and into your waiting future. Okay, the astrology today is a bit tricky. Brace yourselves. The moon continues helping us to use Aries' direct approach to solving problems. There are moments when we need to learn to speak up rather than remain quiet. So much is happening that we have to take critical moments such as today and recognize that life is turning, and that if we do not deal with those twists and turns, we could end up trapped within the maze of intended chaos that wishes to manifest paralyzing confusion. Mercury and Pluto square off, and it may add quite a bit of mental and verbal tension. Notice what wants to come out of your mouth, and then just pause to reflect on the tone, intent, and accuracy before you leap into some conversation. This astrology can make us obsessive and determined to be right regardless of if others agree or disagree. Today brings out a lot of anxiety and the bringing forth of old patterns that have caused trouble and concern. Because we are not clear in this moment, avoid forcing your opinions on others. Just do your best to be open and listen. Answers come from mindfulness and deep connection and communion with others. It is often those that love us that can give us the much needed and important kernels of information. Perhaps it is that we just trust them, and so we let it in because we know they love us. And perhaps that is the problem right now in our world. Too many have opinions, and when they communicate it, it does not feel like love. It feels like the hate that is seething below the surface of those words and comes out in body language, IQs, and tone. Balance is tricky as we move the sun into the sign of Libra. The sun is not strong here, and so consider doing things in another way and weigh out the options before deciding. Rocking the boat could get you on bad terms with some. For some, this qualification can make people uncertain as to what to choose, and the superficiality of some people may make you feel aggravated. Venus and Uranus are making things unusual and unexpected. Best not to take that armor off at this time. And my quote for today: Obsessive feelings are always about karma and the arising of our insecurities and fears. When we do not know the answer to something, we create a story. That story is made up to fill in the blanks that we do not have. Filling in the blanks, while creative in its approach, is an attempt from the mind to try to tie very loose ends together in a way that justifies our position and blames others. And my blog for today. I keep hearing this from so many angles, the word insanity. And I thought, there's moments that I take a word and I go to Webster's. And I think sometimes it's important for us to look at the really deeper meanings of words that we kind of end up throwing around in odd ways. And so insanity begins in those places where we are uncomfortable to let the loose ends of knowledge hang and be left in a state of unknown. Insane people have an answer for everything. Insanity loves to fill in the blanks with outlandish information to make themselves into a hero of their own story. It makes them appear intelligent and knowing. Merriam-Webster defines insanity as a severely disordered state of mind, unsoundness of mind, or a lack of the ability to understand that prevents one from having the mental capacity required. Extreme folly or unreasonableness, something utterly foolish, irrational, or unreasonable. Ryan Howes, a PhD in psychology, defines insanity as a legal term pertaining to a defendant's ability to determine right from wrong. He states that insanity is a mental illness of such a severe nature that a person cannot distinguish fantasy from reality, cannot conduct his or her affairs due to psychosis, or is subject to uncontrolled, impulsive behavior. Take a breath. Okay, people addictively use words, such as insanity, in a way to create distraction and avoidance. It socially has become a type of defense mechanism. People use this phrase to protect themselves against possible failure, rejection, and pain. We use this word as a pathological attempt to preserve a position, perspective, belief, and act. Perseveration is used when a mind cannot solve a problem with the current information at hand. Perseveration is when someone repeats words, phrases, acts, and tasks in a loop that leave the soul unsatisfied and frustrated unless it can enroll others into that belief system. Repetition is a form of conscious enrollment. It intends to blanket a situation with a litany of information that goes nowhere and leads a mind to an intended conclusion that the speaker prefers. All repetition is an attempt at brainwashing, whether we are trying to brainwash our own mind out of a pattern that is destructive, or if another is trying to manipulate us mentally into their way of thinking and believing. Perseveration and perseverance are not the same thing. In life, we need and want to persist and quest in ways to face our fears and move towards difficult goals. When we repeat a constructive behavior or pattern that moves towards a conclusion that is virtuous, is good. But perseveration is a mental loop, an idea that goes nowhere but back to its original spot. Growth is not the goal. Completion is not the desired outcome. Truth is not a necessary consequence of the pattern. Clarity and sound reasoning are not required. Perseveration is when the mind controls the soul, and that soul is helpless and hopeless to untie the loops and knots that the mind is creating. Such minds cannot really stop. That is never an option. There is no noble goal at the end of those thoughts. but it believes running the pattern over and over again is somehow virtuous. That's our little lesson in words today.